Howdy folks, this is DU Novice back with a little tutorial for you about Dual Universe. Wanted to show you, if you wanted to start manufacturing, how to set up a little factory a little better than my haphazard setup here for this stuff. You notice I got a bunch of stuff running. It's because I'm trying to make a few things to show you guys. I've already made a medium container. You can see it's a lot larger than the extra small or even the small containers. We're going to make a large container. And if you look in my large assembler here, I'm missing right now about 150 basic hydraulics, which those are making in one of those units over there behind me. Alright, so I'm setting up to be able to work some of this stuff. I'm having to move some stuff manually, as you can see, as it gets made, so that I can keep working here. But I want to show you how to set up a factory where you don't have to do all of that. So I'm going to show you some software that'll help you out with that, actually. Let's see here. Let's go put some of this in here. Let me just get this set up to continue on. Fill that up and just keep everything running. Alright, I'm going to move a little link over here. So this is on GitHub, and it's called the Dual Universe Factory Generator. I will put the link to it below this video, just to show you guys how to get here. And this is a pretty cool setup. Let's just say there are no large containers at the market, right? Let's look real quick. Hold on. Let's minimize this. Let's look at J. Let's look at the market. Let's type in container. We're looking for basic large containers, right? That's chemical. Basic container large. All right, there are none for sale. None at all. So if I make them, new players are going to want them, and I can sell them for way more than the ore I'm putting into them, because people would rather buy stuff, sell their ore and buy stuff than make it themselves, right? So how do I set up so that I can make several of those a day? All right, so let's go back to our, our DU factory generator sheet here. And let's type in, I want to start a new factory. All right, if I had an existing factory, I could tell it what I already had. But let's just start a new factory, and let's type in container. So everything with container in the name comes up. So you got to scroll down through here. Now it doesn't call it a basic container. It just calls it a container large. So you kind of got to deal with that. Now let's just say that's all I want to make is large containers, because I can sell them all day long. All right. Says I can make up to 7.5 per day. Let's say I want to make 20 of these a day, because I think I can sell a lot of them. All right. So it tells you everything you need to make 20 containers a day. You need 3 large assembly lines. You need 2 electronics industries, 12 metalworks industries. Yes, 12. 4 refiners, 4 smelters, and 2 transfer units, right? Which you have to make pretty much all of this. You can buy an assembly line medium to make the large and to make a bunch of this other stuff, but then you have to make all this. So you got to make all this, and it says you need 1 large container to get started. So let's just say I'll use a hub with several smalls hubbed together to give me the capacity of a large. All right, so maybe what's in my building that I put down initially. I need 2 small containers. I need 13 extra small containers. And here's the schematics you need. So you need to be able to have schematics to make some of the stuff you don't need schematics, right? I don't need schematics to make steel or pure iron or pure carbon or pure aluminum. So some of the stuff I don't need schematics for, but I need schematics to make containers. I need schematics to make some of these other parts, right? Some of them I don't, some of them I do. So you got to figure out all of that because this software hasn't quite caught up with the updates yet, all right? And I'm not setting the ore prices. So it gives you the building instructions step by step here. It says, okay, first set up an extra small container with bauxite. And you're going to basically build pure aluminum. Then do an extra small container with coal. Then do et cetera, et cetera. So let's go here and let's go look at the factory map, right? So this is what it's looking like here. I'm turning bauxite into pure aluminum. I'm turning coal into pure carbon. I'm turning hematite into pure iron. Let me scroll this down just a bit. And I'm turning quartz into pure silicon, right? And then I've got stuff going in to make pure aluminum, right? Pure silicon, pure carbon, pure iron. So that's why I need 4, 4, 4, and 4, right? So I need the units to make the pures, 4 of those. That's what it said. I need 4 of these to make these. And then I need to move on to the next item. I need to make some alloys, some psyllium, some steel. And it says, in order to keep up with the steel, I'm going to have a couple of units running, right? And then I need the basic reinforced frame large. And let's try to move into the right side over here. Stop this. Oh, I didn't mean to select that. Anyway, intermediary parts, there's your structural part, your basic reinforced frame. Here's your intermediary parts, right? You're making basic components, basic pipe. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4 units, 4 of your metalwork industries making basic pipe. All right. Actually, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 making basic pipe. All right, and that's feeding basic hydraulics. Right. So basic hydraulics has your basic pipe coming in. So all of this is feeding into this to make basic hydraulics. And then all of that is feeding into a small container, which is feeding into, you've got your basic component here coming in, your basic hydraulics coming in, your basic reinforced frame large coming in, and those are the components that you need to make a large. And then you got 3 large assembly units, 1, 2, 3, and that will get you your 20 per day. Okay, so this software will let you show you what you need to make. And if you already have some of this stuff, you can subtract. Well, I've already got 12 extra small containers, so I don't need all of those. So you can go back to the summary and go, okay, it says I need 13 small containers. I have 12. I only need to buy 1, right? I'm going to use my factory with a container hub with a whole bunch of smalls here. So I might need to buy more of those in place of my large until I make my first large container, and then I'll put it here in my factory where I need it to be. But that factory map shows you everything. And you notice, let's run this over here. The very last container we're feeding the large containers into is a large container. Now, if I don't have that large container initially, like I said, I can set up a hub with as many small as I can connect to it, which is 10 typically. And that will count. That will let me work until I get my first large container produced, whichever one turns on first. And then I can put that as my output, and all my containers will now feed into that. Then all I got to do is load them up in my ship, take them to the market, and put in a sell order. And I can charge whatever I feel like the market will bear for price, because right now and early in the game, There's not going to be any large containers out there. So maybe I make large containers. Maybe I make medium containers. It basically takes all the same components, just less, to make medium containers, right? And medium containers are kind of a requirement going forward too. So medium and large containers, I'm not telling you to go build those. I'm telling you how to use this dual universe factory generator. You go to the link, you basically put in what you're building. Well, let's go back and let's say, okay, in addition to large containers, I want to make, let's start a new factory from scratch. Let's say container. Let's say I want to make medium and large containers. All right, so let's select. Oh, I lost it. Okay, type it again. All right. So let's say I want to make medium and large containers both, and I want to make transfer units, because transfer units are huge to industry, right? So I want to make those. All right. So let's go next. Okay. So container mediums, this is how many I can produce today with one basic setup. So it's saying I can get 15 out of a basic setup. That's kind of an economical setup. And then I can get 7.5 large containers per day. And I can get 11.25 transfer units per day. So let's just say I go with just the basics, because it is launch after all, and I don't have that much. So this is just the required industries. And let's set this up, and let's look at the factory map now. All right, we basically have the same stuff because we're building large containers, but instead of building 20 large containers, we're building a lot less, right? So we got container medium set up here. Got all the same inputs. You got your pures, you got your product, you got your structural parts. Basic standard frame large, basic reinforced frame large. And then you've got your pipe, you've got some basic components being made with a couple of electronics industries. And you've got your basic hydraulics coming out. You got basic robotic arms coming out, which is part of your transfer unit, right? You got to have a robotic arm to grab stuff and transfer it. And then in the very end over here, you've got medium containers, 3 medium containers, and you're producing all 3 of your assets. You're producing large containers, well, medium containers, large containers, and transfer units. And this will get you the amount that it talked about earlier per day. So this might even be a more economical setup, because the transfer units are huge for people making industry. They are absolutely essential, right? Because it says I need transfer units. And the reason why you need transfer units is when you have multiple things going on, you need transfer units to help you set it up. All right. So I just wanted to go through this with you and kind of give you the whole item there. And this gives you the legend that explains what everything is. You can see where a transfer unit is. You can see where industry is. You can see where containers are. And so they're all set up in here for you. And this one didn't require, I don't believe this one required any transfer units. Oh, no, it did require 2 transfer units. My apologies, I got it wrong. So, but on your output, you're going to have, you're going to have large containers, medium containers, and transfer units, right? And so you can set this up and say, I want to build ship engines. I want to build vertical thrusters. I want to build whatever you want to build to build maybe ships. Maybe you want to build ships. You can set this up and tell it you want to build the engines. You want to build the space engines. You want to build the fuel tanks. You want to build this, that, and the other thing. Whatever is not in the market, find your niche and start making that stuff and selling it to other players. Sell it for more than you would have gotten for selling the ore, and you're ahead. And it's kind of fun to set all this up and do this too, right? It won't be like my factory. I'm going to go ahead and close this. It won't be like my factory where I'm having to run around and move stuff manually. Oh, shoot, I got to move all that stuff out of there. It's getting full, right? I got to put it into the main container so it can see it. Oh, hey, there's more hydraulics. Do I need to go up here and put some stuff into this container? Yep, I'm starting to get low on stuff here, so let's go put some that in there. And where's my silicon? There it is. Alright. So now I've got all that loaded back up. I'll put more aluminum in there next, and we'll keep going. But I'm having to do all this stuff manually. I'm having to go here and say, oh, you know what? I need to pull all this stuff out because this container's full, and because it was full, my units over here had stopped working. They weren't making stuff anymore. So I want these to keep on working and making stuff for me. I want these to keep on working and making stuff for me. Let's see what I can make up here. So I'm going to hit finish and stop on this one. It says it's missing output capacity. Look at that. Try to fix that real quick. I believe I have that going into... Alright. Let's see what we've got here. Let's take some of this stuff out. Let's take about half of this out. Try to leave some more room in here for other things. Maybe we can get that robotic arm to go in if we get to a big enough container. Alright. That's our fuel. And we know our fuel's set up, right? Because, hey, if I take out my fuel, let's take out half of the space fuel. It'll start making space fuel. Well, it just turned on because I had it set to maintain a quantity of, I believe, 400. Let's take a look real quick. Yeah, I have it set to maintain 400. I just took out 190 something, so it'll make 190 something space fuel and throw it back in there for me. Just wanted to show you how to get all that set up, and if you don't know what all parts you need, like how many Metalwork Industries did it say I needed? It was like 8 for that one large container setup, right? So you would need 8 of these stacked up with containers feeding them and everything else, because you got a whole bunch of them producing pipe, and you got some of them producing electronics, and you got these producing basic components, right? That's what this one's producing right now. So there's a lot of things that you have to you have to keep running here to get these assembly lines going. But if you have the transfer units and you have everything set up right, you can actually have this all set up where it's automatic. You don't have to do anything. You have to make sure you have ore in your input container for your ore. That's it. I mean, there's not a whole lot else that you have to do. Let's go ahead and throw some more aluminum in here, because we were out. Make sure we have enough stuff. Alright, I also want to show you real quick on the miners. If you're in a hurry and you don't want to spend time every day and you don't need this ore on the ground, right? Because notice I haven't been picking it up. If you're in a hurry and you want to calibrate and you've got like a whole bunch of miners to calibrate all the time, and look at it, it's at 52%. I'm going to hit calibrate. I don't care about the ore on the ground, so I'm going to make sure it doesn't even appear. And I'll go fast. I'm going to hit start and then the X immediately. I'm done. Okay? It's at 100%. So it'll go for several days now without me having to recharge it. This one back here, 52%. Calibrate. Start. X. Now, for those of you who haven't seen it, I'll go ahead and go through a full charge with all the mini game on here that shows up, right? So that you get the ore on the ground. This one's for coal. Okay, so if I'm not in a hurry and I want the ore on the ground, which as a new player I probably will, I'm gonna hit start and I'm gonna wait for it to come up. I'm gonna go to the cone, put it here, and it should show me. Okay, now what it's saying is that I'm gonna scroll to get this bigger. What it's saying is that my bright spot that I'm looking for should be here. Now I've seen this be wrong. I've seen it be way back over here, and that ticks me off. But oh well, it is what it is. So we'll try over here first. And it could be anywhere from here, so it could be down here, or anywhere out here. So you just kind of gotta hope you can hit it. Alright, so I haven't found the bright spot, so do I assume it's down here, or down here? Oh, what the heck, we'll try it back here. I don't want to let this the battery get too low, so I've really basically failed at this point. I'm going to end up with a 50% charge or something. So I just go the best, brightest spot I can find on here, and I hit, there we go. Oh, and it was way over here. It was actually outside, so this thing annoys me sometimes. Okay, so let's see what charge we ended up with. 100%, right? 76% efficiency, 40 liters production rate. And they gave me this on the ground, so I got a couple of kiloliters of ore on the ground too. Right, or maybe a little less, because that was a bad charge. So if you're in a hurry, you can skip the cinematics and you don't get the extra ore on the ground. If you're not in a hurry, you go through the charge and you get a couple of kiloliters of extra ore on the ground, up to 3, as low as 1.4 or so if you get a poor one like I just did. So anyway, I hope this will help you guys out, and the next time you guys get on, I should have so I'm up to 188 of 250 basic hydraulics. As soon as I get enough basic hydraulics, I'm going to build a large container. Right, and so I'll have that out here next time. I'll have it tied into my main building here as my primary container, and we'll use these others out in the industry more. But that's it. And I'm also looking at building transfer units. I don't have that one set up yet. Let's see if I can build. No, they're actually a large item. They have to be built in here too. So I may build some transfer units just to show you how those work. But the bottom line is there's tools out there for. I've showed you the mining tracker to keep up with all your mining units if you've got a whole bunch of them. Now I've kind of showed you the factory generator, how to set up your factory. So hopefully all that will help you guys get started, and I wish you the best launch that you can possibly have, and hope you get out there and make lots of money and enjoy the game.